It's Zach with a podcast named Tim here with another Mighty Morphin Power Rangers review. Today it is Power Ranger Punks, and we're going to get into it. And of course, we always review the episode and then give our one of a kind monster rating, where we go through 5 categories: the look of the monster, the powers, the plan for defeating the Rangers, the success of the plan, and the voice of the monster. We rate them on a 1 to 5 scale for each category. Most you can get is 25, and we're going to see how today's monster stacks up. It is the Terror Toad. So please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So let's go ahead and get into the review. So the Power Rangers are playing volleyball down in the park, and Babu is making a punk poison. It's like, spiders and snakes and all the normal things you would expect to gross out kids. He also steals Rita's bike for a little joyride around town. But the putties end up attacking the Rangers as this is distracting them, which is not a good fight. Last episode, go listen to that. I talked about one of the best non-morph fights they've ever had. This is one of the worst. Very choppy filming. Too much of a reliance on slow-mo. Just not great. But anyway, it happens, and while they're being distracted, Babu poisons their drinks of water with the punk poison. That's kind of hard to say. With the punk poison. So Kimberly and Billy are the only two that end up drinking it, and they become jerks. They're punks. They're basically like Bulk and Skull now. They're one of the crew. Well, sort of. But they're just going to be acting like them. This is one of many episodes we're going to get into in Power Rangers where Billy and Kimberly are relied upon to do the heavy lifting in some respects for the acting. They switch bodies in one episode. Kimberly becomes Rita in another episode. And I think there's another one, a couple other ones where the two of them are always the focus of being turned evil for some reason. I don't know if the producers thought that their acting chops were better or more suited for that, but they use them a lot for these kind of roles, and this is the first one of those. So Billy punks out Jason. He's like, you can see immediately they're evil. And we do find out Babu is trying to use this to try and get a planet from Rita, or like an asteroid or something. He's trying to get some success and some credibility and get start his own little monster area maybe. Finster decides that we're going to be using the Terror Toad, who was used on Sorcery 7. So that is a planet that they're name dropping a lot of planets. Maybe one day I'm going to do like a list of the planets and the monsters they've done used before. They've recycled. Again, a recycled monster that apparently was successful in the past. So Bulk and Skull are having some trouble with their lockers. Billy and Kimberly show up, and they are bullying everybody, including Bulk and Skull. Well, excuse me, including Bulk. Kimberly actually asks Skull out on a date, says they're going to tear up the town. So a very different version of Kimberly here, obviously. The Rangers are immediately transported to the command center, and Billy and Kim are put in a force field so they cannot mess with anything there. Zordon says there is only one cure for this, and it is the singing squash. You heard that correct. And I'm reading this verbatim, I typed it out. It is a rare root found in certain dimensional gaps. There you go. Power Rangers. So we do see footage of Zordon, pre-Jarhead Zordon, who it's some of the footage from, I don't remember his name, from Zoo Ranger, but it's the footage of the wizard, the mentor there, and it's Zordon in human form, I guess, human. And he's using the singing root there. He basically scares away a bunch of putties with it. Rita ends up sending down her monster. Again, it is the Terror Toad. And this is great. The Rangers are distracted. They're down 2 members. And so easy to take out 3 now. So red, yellow, and black go to fight it. We see here it has this energy tongue that it goes out. And it actually ends up eating Trini. And what's really cool is when it eats one of the Power Rangers, their face shows up like a really temporary tattoo, like that kind of level of sophistication to it. But so the Power Ranger mask shows up on him, the picture on his stomach, which is really cool. And the Rangers Zach and Jason are firing at it. Looks like the bolts are blasting off its belly, so nice impenetrableness to the bolts there. Alpha is sent to find the singing squash because all the other Rangers are indisposed at the moment, and he finds it like immediately. There's no quest; he just shows up and it's right there. But there are putties around. They try and attack Alpha, but he activates some kind of self defense mechanism and basically becomes electrified. Um, the weapons here, when they're fighting the Terratoad, are pretty useless. Um, Basically, they're hitting him with the sword and the axe, and it's just kind of bouncing right off his head. So this monster packs a lot of defensive abilities. So that's very good. Uh, we do find out, so I should say, Alpha brings back the cure. Billy and Kimberly, of course, drink it. I did note, and they're cured, but I was like, what if they would have just like poured it out? Like, no, we're not doing this. Would they have had to go find more singing squash? I don't know. Just it would have been a funny thing to have happened to make him have to go out and find another one. So Zordon tells Billy and Kim that the only way to defeat the monster is by removing its horn and then hitting it in its weak spot below its like right below its neck. We didn't hear him tell Zach, Trini, and Jason this, so I don't know if we just didn't get that or if he just didn't tell them like what the weakness was. He's like, just go figure it out. Maybe he was studying the monster while this was going on. Who knows? But he tells them how to win. Pink and Blue, of course, show up. They immediately cut off the horn, and Jason gets eaten. So Jason's gone too. Um, Billy makes. Oh, I forgot to mention Zach's been eaten a little bit earlier as well. So Jason, Zach, and Trini are all eaten. Billy tries to make a jump for him to knock him out. He gets eaten, and actually Kimberly is loading up the power bow to fire as he's being devoured, and Babu just walks up and just like shoves her out of the way. Just it was great. Um, so all but Kimberly have been eaten. So good job, Terratoad. Unfortunately, Kimberly is able to get off a shot immediately. Once it hits the Terratoad, he just coughs up everyone, and then we get this great shot. She does another shot at the Terratoad, and we kind of follow the arrow as it's going directly into the Terratoad's mouth. Really, really cool camera shot, and it is immediately destroyed. So two power bow shots, and it's out. I wish we would have gotten more explanation in the episode about why the power bow was specifically so powerful against it, but you take what you can get. So we're back at Ernie's. Bulk and Skull show up. Skull's ready for his date. Bulk suggests a double date, and they're trying to bully them, but then for some reason they play volleyball with them, and then they get spiked in the face, and Power Rangers. Either way, a fairly decent episode. Although again, there was like these weird uh, writing decisions, which because I was like, what if they would have poured it out, and then did Zordon tell the original Rangers about the way to defeat him, and then again, why did the power bow? Why was it so strong? But an interesting monster to rate. Again, 5 categories: look, plan, powers, success, and voice. For each of those categories, it is 1 through 5. If you have 25, it's the greatest monster ever. If it's 5, it's the worst. So let's go through it. Look, a 2, it's a toad. It would be a 1 if it wasn't for the really cool, temporary tattoos it gets when it eats rangers. If it wouldn't have been for that, it would have been 1. But I gave it a 2 because of that. So a point up for the cool logos of the Rangers. Plan 3, I would say a typical Power Rangers plan. Nothing too imaginative to write about. They are reusing a monster they've used before, which I always like because clearly it's building equity with us, the fans. We know this monster has been successful, but I gave it a 3 for the plan. Powers, gave it a 4. He's able to eat the Rangers, which is a unique power. He's able to, have all the blaster bolts bounce off him. Indestructibility is a power. And he's got his own little power beams, I believe, as well. So, all in all, good set of powers. So, a 4. Success, I also gave it a 4. It ate 4 of the 5 Power Rangers. And at one point, we were down to just Jason because Kimberly and Trini were evil. Or, excuse me, Kimberly and Billy were evil. And the other 3, or the other Rangers, were basically eaten. So it had won, essentially, at one point. The only reason I didn't give it a 5 is because we didn't go to the Megazord. This is going to be probably the highest I rate any monster that I can remember from my watching of Power Rangers. We'll see when we keep going through this, but this will probably be the highest I rate one of the monsters that doesn't actually go to the Power Ranger to the Megazord. If it would have went to the Megazord and just had that fight, I would have given it a 5 for success because it got so close. But when you're defeated by just 2 Power Bow shots, and it's not explained, I'm just going to give you a 4. And for the voice, I gave it a 4 as well. I thought, a deep, appropriate sounding voice, some good sound effects when it's eating the Rangers. So all in all, a good monster. Again, that is 2 for look, 3 for plan, 4 for powers, 4 for success, and 4 for voice, for a total of 17. So that is the Terror Toad. Let me know your thoughts below on the Terror Toad and how we rated it, your thoughts on the episode, on the show as a whole, all that good stuff. We like to communicate with people who are watching these. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time here on a podcast named Tim.